Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Tim's Motorcycle Adventures. I'm Tim, and this is the RPHA 71. Well, the RPHA 71 is all new for 2023, and you know what else is new? You hitting that subscribe button. Do it now. Hit like too. Well, a new helmet day is always exciting, but this helmet is not actually for me. This is for my wife. A few years ago, we got her an HJC, I think it's like a CL13 or something. It was basically the cheapest helmet we could buy because she was just a passenger and only riding a couple times a year. But she has since got into riding. She got a new bike and she's been commuting in the summertime. And so it was time for a new helmet, one that wasn't so breezy and loud. And I thought this probably would fit the bill. She tried on a bunch of different helmets in the store. None quite fit really well. I have an RPHA 90S Carbon. There's things I love about it, things I don't like about it, but this is all new. It looked really nice, and so we thought, well, let's take a shot, and we ordered it. You will notice that it is white. There are two reasons for that. Number one, white is very visible. It's easier to see on the road. My wife likes that. The second reason is when we bought it, the really cool graphics that they had out, well, they weren't available yet. They weren't even for sale. And for whatever reason, the white one, HJC, had really good sales on. So we picked this up. And first thing right out of the box, I pulled it out. It comes in a very nice box with a nice bag and all of that stuff. The first thing that I noticed is just the quality of paint. It is not just white, it is actually a pearl white. Very nice paint job. It has some depth to it. Very nice looking helmet. It has a raised HJC logo on the front, which looks very nice. And it has the RPHA R on the back, just so you know that it isn't one of the cheap HJC helmets. It's one of the nice HJC helmets. The weight of it feels okay. I don't know, it's about average. It's not super light. It's not like my carbon helmet, but it's not too heavy either. The shape of it really reminds me of my old Shoei GT Air with a big scoop on the top. It has always open vents on the back here. It has a nice big scoop that is very easy to operate with a gloved hand, and it looks like it pulls in a ton of air. And then when it's closed, they actually put some vents along the back to keep the noise down and to prevent this scoop from catching air, which I think is a really nice touch. The front is also very easy to operate. It slides up and down as well as toggling. I'm not entirely sure exactly what the toggle is for. My wife says in the middle position where I would say it's open, she gets the least amount of air in. So I don't know what that's about, but it's at least it has very nice action and clicks solidly. The face shield has the Pinlock 120 in it. It just comes in the box. You have to install it yourself, but at least it has it in there. I have found on mine the Pinlock 120 is fantastic. I had no fogging issues at all, and it works really well. The shield is quite stiff. It's actually quite thick, which I think will keep the sound down quite a bit. As far as detents, you can click it open and it sits just barely open. The next step is about like that, and then there's a bunch of different bumps in here, which is kind of weird that you either have just cracked open or about like that, which I guess is fine. But it locks down nice and tight, and it snaps closed, so I think that should be good. The shield comes off quite easily. It goes back on fairly easily. It's a bit of a different system that I've seen before, kind of a triangle thing that pops in and out, but it seems to work quite well. This helmet, of course, is a touring helmet, and so it has a sunshade on it. The sunshade is quite big. It covers a lot of area, which is very nice. It's your typical kind of smoke shield. It's not too dark, not too light. It seems to work really well. And then on this side, under this cover, is actually a 3-position switch. So you can move it up in the middle where it is right now, or the 3rd position is down and out away from you. So for people like me with much larger noses, it gets that shield a little farther away from your nose, which is helpful for me and unnecessary for someone like my wife. So we have it in the middle position, so it goes down the farthest, but it's still fairly close to her face. Comes with this little breath guard here, a little chin curtain here as well, and so that should help just keep the wind out. The liner wraps around quite nicely. It's not a seamless all the way around like some of the helmets have, but it is a high quality, very comfortable. My wife said it fits her head and is very comfortable. It has these emergency cheek pulls here, which is very nice in case there is an emergency. And of course, double D-ring, which is pretty standard. My RPHA 90 has the ratchet strap. It is kind of nice, but sometimes it doesn't click in quite right. D-ring is just fine. I wouldn't choose a helmet because it has a ratchet strap over a D-ring, that's for sure. All right, you may have noticed that I already have a cardo unit installed. I found a place just above this little black panel here to put it. First of all, there are nice speaker cutouts. There is actually a very nice microphone cutout in the front that you can just put the microphone right in, and then it doesn't hit your face if you have a longer face that goes out like I do. So that is really nice. The system installed fairly easily, but the issue with HJC, with Scorpion, with Shoei, some of the new helmets, is they all want you to buy their proprietary system, which are usually Sena's, and they have this big cutout so it just nicely clicks in there and is seamless, which is great if you only have one helmet. But I have 2 helmets. I want to swap my cardo system between helmets. We already own a cardo system, and so it doesn't make sense for us to try to mesh a cardo and a new Sena unit for this helmet. And I just think, you know, I get it. I get why manufacturers are doing that, but please stop making it so big. It sticks out. It's another panel. I just think, why do you do this? I get it. Sometimes people want a seamless system, but you know what? You drop your helmet, you get a different kind of helmet, now your system doesn't fit, and you've spent another couple $100 on a helmet that doesn't transfer over to a new helmet. And so I think it's kind of silly. I don't like it. And then on this helmet, they actually put a matching panel on this side. Why? I have no idea. Just a match, I guess. But this cover actually comes off. There's nothing behind it. It's completely useless. This cover, I wanted to stick the unit right on the cover, but wouldn't you know it, they put these nice fancy ridges on there. I wonder why. Just so you can't stick a cardo on there. So I had to tuck it up a little bit behind here. It works fine. It's not that big a deal, not a problem. But yeah, it just makes me frustrated when all of these manufacturers are putting this big ugly panel on the side in the hopes that you buy their more expensive comm units. Okay, well, this is just my initial impression. It feels very solid, very good quality. All of the switches are really nice. The interior is really nice. It seems like a really great helmet. But it's all about the fit and how it is on the road, which I can't try out, but my wife can. And so let's go for a ride and do an on-bike interview to see how she likes the helmet.
All right, well, here we are out on the bikes. And I have a very special guest to Tim's Motorcycle Adventures. I'd like to introduce to you my lovely wife, Annalisa. Annalisa, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, you are the first person I have interviewed on a motorcycle. So let's start talking about the RPHA 71. You had an older HJC that well, it was kind of on the lower end of the price spectrum, and this one is on the higher end. So can you feel the difference?
I really can, yes.
And what do you notice about it?
Well, first of all, this helmet is quite a bit quieter. It is a little bit lighter, and it does a lot of things better just because it comes with the drop-down shade. Super handy.
Okay.
So I really like that.
Good. Now, in the store, we tried on a whole bunch of different helmets. Anything that came in your size, pretty much, I think. We tried a bunch of showy helmets. We tried some HJC helmets. We tried Scorpion and AGV and all of that. Nothing really seemed to fit right for you. How's the fit on this one?
Actually, the fit on this one is surprisingly good. I feel like it just hugs my whole head evenly, and none of the rest of them did that for me, so this is a great fit for me.
Okay. Well, that's always good. Fit is really important. All right, you've also never had a helmet. Well, I guess technically your first helmet did, but you haven't had one in a while that has a drop-down sun visor. You've been using the smoke shields. How is this drop-down sun visor?
I really like this drop-down sun visor. It's much better than some of the other ones I've tried because it goes down so far that it's not in my line of vision. And I really like that, and I can hardly even tell that it's a second piece of plastic there. And I find that the tinting on this is actually quite good. It's not as dark as my smoke shield, but it's dark enough to gray out full sun, but not too dark to make the shadows hard to see in. So I think it's a good in-between color for this smoke.
Yeah, on maybe a very bright sunny day, you'd want it to be a little bit darker, but something like right now, the sun's kind of going down, it's behind a cloud, but it still shines through, and so it's nice to have a bit of that shade. And it's way easier than taking on and off a shield, right?
Yeah, way easier.
Yeah, and you don't have to carry another shield with you when you go on a trip, and so that's why these are great touring helmets if it has the drop-down sun visor. Okay, you talked a little bit about noise already. How much quieter is it? Do you really notice that big a difference?
I do like to wear earplugs when I ride, so comparing directly from one helmet with earplugs to this one with earplugs, and I do notice it's quite a bit quieter. I don't know what percentage, maybe 25%, but an amount that I notice, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good. A quieter helmet always makes a ride a little bit nicer, and you can always go a little bit farther without getting so tired. All right, so let's talk about the venting. How is the chin vent on your helmet?
The chin vent is good. It gives me lots of air when I want it, but I kind of fiddle around with it, and can have less air too. So I think best of both worlds. The vent on the top is actually quite amazing, really. I open it and it's literally instant cold air rushing over your head. So in the really hot weather, that's going to be great.
Yeah, of course, you don't really like the vents open when it's not hot. So you don't hear any noise from them?
Actually, no. Actually, no noise at all, so that's really great.
Good, good. All right. And how about the front visor? Of course, we haven't ridden in the rain or anything, so you don't know how it seals up, but any air leaks or anything from the front visor?
Oh, it seems good so far. I'm happy with the fit, and it's actually not too tight to open up, so velvet, it's just really hard to open the visor, but this one, it's easy to open and it's easy to snap it closed.
Okay, good. Maybe one last question. How about pulling the helmet on and off? Is it tight on your head, or is it easy to get on and off?
Well, because it's brand new, I think it's a little tighter, so pulling it on and off seems pretty good. It is a little bit tighter than my last one, especially if I'm wearing the buff. I like to wear that just to keep my hair out of my face, and it's a bit snug getting it over the buff, but nothing to really complain about.
Okay, good, good. All right, well, thank you very much for this review and for joining me on my channel. Really appreciate you going out for a ride. I know it's a real hardship to have to go out for a ride with your husband, but it's been nice to go for a ride. So thanks everybody for joining us on this helmet review of the HJC RPHA 781. And yeah, I hope you come back, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.